I've always loved action films. After all, it's hard to deny that there's something thrilling about the chaos, the stunts, and the larger-than-life heroes.
Thanks for the heads up.
Growing up, I was surrounded by the likes of Schwarzenegger, Stallone, and Keanu Reeves. But despite all the guns, explosions, and sheer brute force, I always, for better or worse, seemed to find myself drawn to another of its many subgenres. Whether it's the comedic genius of Jackie Chan, capable of blending mind-bending stunts with perfectly timed humour, or the cinematically dynamic precision of Donnie Yen. The martial arts genre, unlike its Western counterpart, has a rhythm and artistry that's difficult to ignore. But no matter how much I might love the likes of Police Story, Kung Fu Hustle, or Ip Man, there's only one name that, for me at least, towers above the rest. Bruce Lee. I've been thinking a lot lately about why that is, about what makes Bruce Lee so different from all these other stars of the genre, about why, even though I'm a big Jackie Chan fan, for example, I still find myself resonating more with someone who's only been in a mere 3% of the amount of films he has. And given that I've just finished watching through all of his films, now seemed like the perfect time to find out why. So what makes him different? What separates him from the legends who came both before and after? What makes this any better than this? Maybe it's his speed.
There is the punch, there is the back fist, and then low. Of course, then they use leg, straight at the groin, all come up.
His strength. His athleticism. His hot body. Or maybe it's just all of them. I think it's really hard to deny that there's a certain element of aura to a Bruce Lee film. And when you actually sit down and watch them, it almost consumes you. I mean, in a film like The Big Boss, for example, it's not like he's this massive star at the time of production. In fact, the director, Lo Wei, didn't even want Bruce Lee to be the star at the time. It was originally intended to be for James Tien, who was the production company's more commonly used leading man back then. But when you watch it, for some reason, and maybe it's just because of hindsight now that we know what kind of man and star Bruce Lee was, he owns every scene he's in. Every time he's on camera, the shot belongs to him. And that's not to downplay James Tien's involvement. He's still great in that film, and he would go on to work with Bruce Lee multiple times in all the other films he would do for Golden Harvest. But unfortunately for James, when it came down to it, he just didn't have what it took to compete with the star power of Bruce Lee. Instead, his character is killed off halfway through, and Bruce loses the one thing that had prevented him from fighting since the beginning of the film. It's then pretty easy to see what sets him apart from James. When Bruce fights, there's just this raw intensity that, in my opinion, can't really be found anywhere else. And every single one of his moves hits with a power and a speed that few other people are capable of emulating. This can especially be seen when you watch something like Game of Death or any other Bruceploitation film, where the people they've hired to emulate Bruce just aren't up to code. It's easy to blame this on the fact that he was a master of his craft, someone who put his martial arts and his teachings before his career as an actor. But is that really true? I mean, I personally think that's pretty disingenuous, because someone like Jackie Chan is clearly a master of their craft. Their focus just lies in a different place. And when you listen to people talk about Bruce Lee, they claim that he wanted nothing more than to be a Hollywood star, to be this martial arts hero.
He had a great sense of who he was. And I never met anybody in my life, ever, that I felt wanted to be a star more than Bruce. I mean, it was his being, his whole sense. He wanted to become a movie star.
So yeah, he might have been this master of Jeet Kune Do, but at his core, he still craved that art of storytelling just as much as anyone else in his field. After all, I'm sure if you gave Jackie the light of day, he could seem just as skilled and intellectual when discussing his own craft.
Jackie, let me ask you, how can you jump from this building, that building? It's more easy. Rolling, jump, action, cut, hospital.
So what separates them? I think the answer to that lies somewhere between the real and the fantastical. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've seen all 150 of Jackie Chan's movies, but the ones I have seen, more often than not, have him in a comedic leading role.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Because of course, that's what he's good at. But with Bruce, his characters instead come from more working class backgrounds, their ability to fight being really the only thing they have going for them. I think it's this that allows his usually less complex characters to feel so much more relatable and make their overly insane, stupefied kung fu worlds feel so much more grounded and real. What would have been his last film, which unfortunately became The Game of Death that we know, would have been his most fantastical film yet, but even then it would have been a lot more subtle, a lot more philosophical, more so about his own approach to martial arts and the way that he faces the challenges and overcomes. As far as we know, that is, anyway. Jackie Chan, on the other hand, is more interested in making sure you have a good time, investing you in his fights more so through crazy, funny choreography than deep, meaningful moments. Which isn't to say that's a bad thing. I love Jackie Chan's films nearly just as much as Bruce, but the question here is, why does one resonate with me so much more? And I think that is quite simply because when you watch a Bruce Lee film, you kind of lock in for it, and every fight is shot with such a purpose and such a fluidity. Even a lot of modern day films with these hyper high budgets fail to match. Now, you might be asking why I'm comparing him to Jackie Chan to begin with, why I'm not just focusing on Bruce Lee and Bruce Lee alone, and that's because, well, it's the easiest way to illustrate the differences between Bruce's craft and the others that came before him. But it's also because I grew up more with Jackie Chan's films and got into Bruce Lee's more later on in life as my appreciation for the genre grew. So it makes sense to me to compare why I found more of a connection to Bruce Lee's films later on in life by comparing it to what got me into the genre to begin with.
I got it.
And because, you know, the two times they ever shared the screen together, it's hard to deny that Bruce is the one that came out on top. I kid, of course. I love you both. So we've talked about how his characters are more relatable and real than other martial arts stars, and how that makes them more timeless as far as the history of his films are concerned. But if that's the case, why is it that people are inspired by the man behind the camera all these years later? The answer to that lies in his human side.
I
That's
said,
here.
this is what it is, okay?
You're talking to Longstreet, played by James Francesca.
I said, empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. Now you put water into a cup. it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it in a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend.
Bruce wasn't just a defining presence on the screen, but off it as well. And relating to that last clip, I just want to say that I think it's funny that in that moment he wasn't speaking off the cuff. He was actually quoting a character from a show he'd starred in previously. But even then he says it with an almost mythical delivery that all these years later we look back at it and think, wow. I mean, that's not to say he didn't know what he was talking about. He did, after all, study philosophy, drama, and psychology at the University of Washington. So all of these profound and inspiring life lessons you might see from him are more than likely from him.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.
I mean, hell, that same interview is filled with them, and they are just, well, they're just great.
I mean, it might sound too philosophical, but it's unacting acting or acting unacting. If you...
You've lost me.
I have, right?
I saw this meme once that was something like, it's really funny to me how Bruce Lee studied art and psychology and poetry and decided that the best way of expressing that was punching someone in the face. And you know what? It's true, and it works. And I think in the long run, that's why I, a 25-year-old man, can look back at someone who has been gone for 40 plus years and still find a lot of complex meaning and inspiration from someone that realistically only did 4 films. I'd love to go into each film individually and discuss why I love each and every one of them, but I don't think that's the purpose of what I'm trying to say here. So if you want to see that, let me know and I might get round to doing that at some point. But I think all in all, I've hopefully explained why it is that Bruce Lee's legacy is so enduring and why it does continue to mean so much to people like me who didn't grow up with those films, or people that found those films far later in life. Or maybe all of the people that don't even watch the films and just see snippets of them or his interviews on YouTube or other social media platforms. And I think it's safe to say that because of that, there was no one like him at the time, and there's never been anyone like him since. And I think that's why he still matters so much to me, why he matters so much to so many other people, and why his legacy will outlive all of us. His fights are still fun though, I guess. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this little video I put together on Bruce Lee. If you liked what I saw or enjoyed what I had to say, don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that bell icon so that you never miss a video. It really helps the channel and it makes me know that you want to see more of what I do here. Also, if you for some reason really want to help me out, don't forget to check out my debut novel, Resurgence of Gaia. The link can be found in the comments down below. But yeah, once again, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, I will see you on the next video.